Let's talk about that really stubborn fat. The stuff deep in your belly, the hard stuff. This isn't just about how you look, it's actually a pretty serious health issue. And in this explainer, we are going to break down the exact blueprint for finally taking it on. Hi, welcome to Body Blueprint. Today, we're unlocking the plan to understand and, more importantly, to target a very specific health risk. I think you know the feeling I'm talking about. It's not the soft, pinchable stuff on the outside. It's that deep, hard pressure right behind your abs. Well, that's visceral fat. And trust me, it's a completely different beast. So let's be super clear on the difference here. The stuff you can grab, that's subcutaneous fat. Annoying, maybe, but not our main target. Our target is the stuff on the left, visceral fat. It's deep inside, it feels hard, and it literally wraps itself around your vital organs. And yeah, that's what makes it so incredibly dangerous. Okay, now here's the most crucial point, so listen up. Visceral fat isn't just sitting there doing nothing. It's an active, living organ, basically a hormone factory. And what's wild is that it's just loaded with receptors for stress hormones. So when life gets crazy, this fat literally listens and it locks down tight. But here's the really good news. That same wiring, that same sensitivity to hormones that makes it so stubborn, well, that's exactly what we're going to exploit. We can use its own biology against it and target it directly. So here's our game plan. We've got a 5-point attack. We'll cover how to mobilize and then burn that fat. Then we'll get into how to control the hormones and stress that are feeding it. And we'll finish with a simple hack to get your appetite under control. All right, let's dive into your 5-point attack plan. And I want to be clear, this is a targeted strategy. This is not about spending hours doing random cardio. We're going to pull 5 very specific levers. We'll use adrenaline-fueled workouts, we'll control insulin with some smart fasting, we'll manage estrogen and cortisol levels, and then we'll use protein to master your hunger. You'll see how each one of these builds on the others. Okay, let's jump into our first section, mobilize and burn. The goal here is really simple. We're going to force your body to open the vault on that deep belly fat and then actually use it for energy. So how do we actually open that vault? Well, it all comes down to hormones. See, visceral fat is just covered in adrenaline receptors. High-intensity training floods your system with adrenaline, which is basically like a key that unlocks those fat cells and says, release your energy, we need fuel and we need it now. And here is exactly how you do it. The 4x4 protocol. You do this 3 times a week. After a good warm-up, you go hard, I'm talking an 8 or 9 out of 10 effort, for 4 minutes straight. Then you recover for 3 easy minutes. You repeat that cycle 4 times. That's it. This protocol is crazy effective at boosting your VO2 max, which is just your body's ability to use oxygen and triggering that crucial adrenaline release. Okay, so you've just mobilized all this fat. Awesome. But, and this is a big but, that's only half the battle. If your insulin levels are high, your body will just take all that fat you freed up and store it right back again. So we have to flip the insulin switch to the off position. Now, probably the most effective way to do this is with a 16-8 fasting window. You just fast for 16 hours, only water, black coffee, or plain tea is fine, and then you eat all your meals within an 8-hour window, say from noon to 8 p.m. And here's why it works so well. This keeps your insulin levels low long enough for your body to have no other choice but to start burning the fat you just released from your training. They work together perfectly. All right, let's move on to the next piece of the puzzle and see how this all builds. We're now going to focus on shutting down that internal hormone lab that's been working against you. This is all about managing estrogen and that pesky stress hormone, cortisol. As the source material puts it, your belly fat really does act like its own little hormone lab. It actually produces an enzyme called aromatase, which takes testosterone and converts it into estrogen. This creates a vicious cycle that just encourages your body to store more fat. So how do we shut down this estrogen engine? Well, it's surprisingly simple. First, just add about 1 cup of cruciferous vegetables, things like broccoli, cauliflower, or kale, to your dinner. These veggies have compounds that actually help your liver process and clear out that excess estrogen, which helps break the cycle. And it doesn't stop there, I'm afraid. That same belly fat can take an inactive stress hormone floating around and convert it into active cortisol right there inside the fat cell. It's like having a tiny stress factory wrapped around your organs, constantly telling your body to store more and more fat. But we can break this cortisol loop with 2 really simple tactical tools. First, taking about 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate before bed can really help relax your nervous system and improve your sleep. And second, just 5 minutes of box breathing. You just inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. This isn't some soft, fluffy stuff. It's a tactical way to directly calm your nervous system and lower that constant store fat signal.
Now for our final lever, the appetite hack. Look, you can't outtrain a runaway appetite, right? But this isn't about willpower. This is about using chemistry to your advantage.
Here's the magic number I want you to remember: 25 to 30 grams. That's it. The goal is to get this much protein about 20 to 30 minutes before you eat your largest meal of the day. And getting this in is super easy. This could be a simple whey protein shake, a cup of Greek yogurt, some cottage cheese, or even a few egg whites. This protein preload works by slowing down your digestion and triggering satiety hormones that tell your brain, hey, we're full. The result? You just naturally eat less during your big meal without even trying or feeling deprived. So that's the blueprint. And I really want to be clear about this part. This is not about being perfect 100% of the time. It is about being consistent. Just focus on pulling these 5 levers: your training, your fasting window, your nutrition, your stress, and your appetite most of the time. That is what drives real, lasting results. So now you have the full plan, a targeted, strategic blueprint to finally get rid of that dangerous visceral fat. The only question left is, which one of these powerful levers are you going to pull first?